All right, so we have a challenge today, and we're basically going to create a resource underneath the manufacturer. So I'm going to make sure I'm not recording, am I? Oh, there. Yes, I am. So as of right now, we are manually writing every single route that we have, which leads to a particular controller and then a particular controller action. It's totally fine to continue writing it this way, but Rails gives you something very, very nice called resources, which allows you to essentially get rid of all of this and just do resources manufacturers. And that gives you the same functionality as before. So when I ran rake routes with this uncommented, this is what I got as a result. And when I run rake routes again, you can see here that it's more or less, actually no one can see that. It's more or less the same. There are some minute differences, but you still have the ability to look at all of the manufacturers and get a form for the new manufacturer, edit each one, and then you get to read, update, and delete a particular manufacturer. So this tiny little line right here, line 4, basically gets rid of lines 5 through 12 for you. And today what we're going to be trying to do, is we're going to have a resource nested under another resource. So this is kind of like the what happened first, the chicken or the egg kind of idea. So we're going to say that a manufacturer has many products and a product belongs to a manufacturer. A product cannot exist without a manufacturer, but a manufacturer can exist without a product. So it's kind of like you can't have a child without parent first, because otherwise that doesn't make any sense. So you wouldn't be able to have a product outside of a manufacturer. So in the end, we're going to hope for something like manufacturers /5, and then they have like a bunch of products. So this would be all the products. If we had like /product /3, this would be product 3 under manufacturer 5, and so on and so forth. So let's just make sure we have some tests to get us started on today's challenge. You can kind of find it right over here. Under controllers, we have stuff for manufacturers, controllers, routing and requests and everything. We have specs just to get us started. If everything goes well, I can just run bundle exec rspec. And if everything is green, we are good to go. All right, so everything looks good. What the heck? Okay. All right, so if you want to nest a resource underneath another one, you're going to have to add a do and an end here, and I'm going to do resources for products. Now if I do bundle exec Rails routes, and I add this pipe for grep products, God, it's terrible. Okay, you can see that I have all of these brand new routes. So this little extra thing that we haven't really dealt with before is this pipe. Basically, this pipe is saying I'm going to run this left-hand side first, which is bundle exec Rails routes, which is going to list out all the routes that we have. From that result, I'm going to just grep or search for anything that matches products. And that's what we have here. I don't know if you can see it terribly well. Maybe if I move it down to the bottom. Yeah. So I have, it's similar to like what we had a little bit earlier, but it's like if I wanted manufacturers with the manufacturer ID /products, this is all the products for this particular manufacturer. If I wanted to post to that, I also have the ability to do so. Here's the form to create a new product under a manufacturer. Here's the form to edit under a manufacturer. And then I can read, update, and delete a product underneath a manufacturer. All right, let's take a look at our products controller spec. Create a spec. We're going to create something for a new controller. So we'll do products controller spec.rb. We're going to do test-driven development. Again, all of the code that I'm grabbing is directly from your curriculum. These are the things I'm going to be testing inside the products controller. When I visit the index page, it will render a 404 for a non-existent manufacturer. It'll show all my products, and it doesn't show other manufacturers' products. All right, so first test, it's going to look a little something like this. All right, so it's following that given when then RSpec matcher. So this test says I'm going to render a 404 if a manufacturer doesn't exist. So I have to do a bunch of given when thens again. So given, I can refactor this. So maybe I'll do params equals this manufacturer here. The first part is a given. Like, what do I need in order to get started? And I need to have a parameter of like a manufacturer ID of -1. When is like, what am I actually executing? So I'm making a GET request to the index action of the products controller, and the parameters I'm going to pass in are going to be params. Finally, we have the then. Like, what's the expected result? I expect the responses code to equal 404. So in Sinatra, it was called last response. Inside of Rails, it's just called response. And I expect it to say not found. So if I run the specs now, everything is going to blow up. Actually, one thing is going to blow up, if I'm not mistaken. It says, it blows up, it just says there's an uninitialized constant products controller. I go up to app, controllers, and I see that I don't actually have a controller for this. So I think there is a nice bundle exec Rails generate controller products controller. And then this will automatically generate my products controller for me. And it not only does it give me a products control, products controller control. It gives me a views for products controller and everything like that. Okay, so this is a reason why you want to be careful with using Rails generators, because sometimes it gives you a bunch of extra stuff that you don't need to do. The sad part about this for me is I had to delete every single one of these files. So I'm sorry.
Automated backup?
I don't think there's an automated. Sydney or Kara, do you know?
What's the opposite of generate?
Ungenerate?
So undo a Rails generate command, run a Rails destroy command that edits the file, run rate, migrate again. But yeah, let's.
Almost done. Okay. All right, let's try that one more time. So I'm going to Rails generate a controller, but I'm just going to name the one thing. Products. All right, cool. We have a app. It starts generating a lot of things for us. So we have, it generates the controller for us. It creates a folder for all of our views. There's a conflict because I already created this spec right here. Should we overwrite? No, I'm good. I like the one that I have right here. I trust that it's going to work. So N. And it also creates a products helper, all this extra stuff that comes for free. You may or may not need to use this, but the problem with using generators is if you show up to an interview and you use a generator, you better be able to explain what this .coffee is going to do and what .scss is going to do. And to be honest, I don't even know what it does. I don't really use it ever. So I don't, yeah, I would just remove the things that you don't necessarily need. But for us, we have a products controller spec, and now we have a products controller with absolutely nothing inside of it. So we're going to make all of these tests pass. Probably not all of them because I'm running out of battery and it's late on a Friday, but I will just grab some of this stuff and show you. Okay, so I have this products controller, and I have this before action that we talked about a little bit earlier. So before the index is fired off, I want you to find the manufacturer. So I'm going to basically find the manufacturer based off of whatever shows up inside my routes. And the good and bad part now is I have very little code here, but I have no idea what any of it does. So I do bundle exec Rails routes. And you can kind of see, since I'm dealing with products, the get for products index is going to be manufacturers / manufacturer ID / products. So I know I'm passing in a manufacturer ID. So I'm going to find it, and if I can't find it, I'm going to, it's going to blow up and raise an error. On line 12, I'm going to rescue that error from happening, and instead of blowing up to the user, I'm going to render the errors not found page. Let's kind of see if this works in real life. So if I go to manufacturer / -1 / products, this should take me to a 404 page. That's bad. Should not say that. Well, let's run the specs first.
You just copy the 2 methods from the previous, identical to the other class.
No, it's in your curriculum. Hold on 1 second. I'm kind of confused why this is not working. Render errors not found, status not found. Looks like I don't have a template for that. So if I go to app views, is there an errors folder? There is not. Great. I'll create an errors folder. And then I'll create a new template called notfound.html.erb. And then in honor of being here, Sydney says that your manufacturer was not found. So if I refresh this page, it should not blow up, and it says, Sydney says that your manufacturer was not found. And if I run these tests one more time, this should pass this at this point. If you take a look at the specs that I had a little bit earlier, it says I expect the code to be 404 because it blew up, and I expect the body to say not found somewhere inside of it. And I have that not found right there. I'm going to grab another couple tests, and then I'm going to pass it off to you all.
One thing that's a good note is that if you look at the match.match, you're using a regex not found, but you're also using the I tag, which means insensitive, whether it's capitalized or not capitalized, which will be good for when you need to, maybe somebody ended up wanting to write that capital case instead of lowercase or all uppercase or whatnot. It's not going to blow up your test.
All right, so I've added a couple more specs. This let, as we have discussed a little bit in this class, this basically means that within this describe block, I'm going to be using a variable within different tests. And if I put it in here, put it up here in this let block, I'm basically saying the variable manufacturer is equal to whatever this is, whatever is within the curly brace. And I'm going to be using it within all of these spec files down here. So I'm going to create two manufacturers. So the first one is going to be manufacturer, and it's Nike with the description of just do it. And then I'm going to create another manufacturer called Reebok, which did you know their slogan is "I am what I am" is actually Reebok's slogan? It's terrible.
Popeye is so mad.
What's that?
That's like Popeye's thing.
I am what I am. All right, so I got two tests following the given, when, then protocol. So it shows all my products. So that means I first need to actually create a product. I don't like all this space. So I'm going to create a product. The manufacturer, since a product belongs to a manufacturer, if we take a look inside of product.rb, it belongs to a manufacturer. So I need to say that it belongs to this particular manufacturer found up here on line 7. It's going to have Air Jordans, $279, and here's the SKU number. So the given, this is what I need to do in order to get my test to run. And we have the then, what's actually being executed. I'm making a GET request with these parameters. And then finally, I expect the responses body to include that particular name. It doesn't show any other manufacturer's products. So the idea is that when I go to a particular manufacturer, I'm not able to, if I'm a Nike, I'm only going to see Nike's products. I'm not going to see Reebok's products. And then it's going to say, I'm going to create this product, but it's going to go with Reebok instead of Nike. So it's the same thing again, but I expect this response body not to include that product's name. So one is it shows all of your products, but it doesn't show any of the other products. I'll run the tests. And I have 2 failures because I haven't written the code for it quite yet. So I'm just going to jump over here to the products controller. I'm going to add this piece of code in there. So using like active record magic, I have manufacturer. I'm just going to call .products on it. And then that'll just be all the products for that particular manufacturer. If all goes well. Run the specs one more time. Everything should pass. Oh, what the heck? Products index. Do I have an index page? Oh, we don't. Okay. Let me take a look at the index for the manufacturers and more or less copy. Let's do index.html.erb for products. Paste this in there. I'm passing down products. Okay. Product as a name, a price, SKU, and that's it. Going to products, each do product. I'm going to render a partial. Product.html.erb. I'm going to steal it all from manufacturer. Dump it in here. Product.name. All right. Cool. So all I really did was the specs here blew up earlier because it says I didn't have a products index template because I had a folder but no views underneath it. So I created an index, basically copying directly over from manufacturer's index. So I just copied and pasted, put it inside of here. I changed all of the table headers to match up with the particular column names on the table. And then from there, I just copied and pasted every instance of manufacturers and changed it to product, every manufacturer to product singular. And then I'm loading up a small little partial template just to put up the name, price, and the SKU number just to print something else to the screen. Your assignment for today and / for this weekend is to implement the rest of this nested controller. As of right now, even if I go to if I go to the first manufacturer and go to all their products, there is nothing to actually get there quite yet. So your job is to implement the rest of the nested controller using the pattern that we have that's in your curriculum right over here. So I expect to be able to create a new product, I expect to be able to update and delete products underneath manufacturers. And then this weekend, we're going to do the Rails blog. But if you don't finish it by Monday, we're going to do it on Monday as well.
Go back to your
Sure. Let me stop this real quick.